So, what happens when a high school student who, by the way, can't even drive yet, decides to teach the latest in AI? You'd probably think his students are other kids, right? Well, what if his classroom was actually filled with 87-year-old retirees and former scientists? Let's get into this pretty amazing story. So, this is Jacob Showell. He's 17, he's a coder, a chess player, a drummer in a band, and his motivation? It's really simple, but also incredibly powerful. He just loves helping people figure out technology. And that passion led him to do something pretty remarkable. And this is where the dynamic gets so interesting. You've got Jacob and his high school friends on one side, and on the other, you have his students who have literally lived 4 times as long as he has, with entire lifetimes of experience. It's this fascinating flip of the usual classroom setup. All right, so let's back up a bit and see how this all got started. Because before he was teaching seniors, Jacob actually built an international nonprofit completely from scratch, all with the goal of teaching his peers how to code. He called it Mode to Code. Jacob started it back in 2024, basically on the idea that teens learn coding way better from other teens. And, well, it just exploded. Pretty soon, his 16-person volunteer team, and remember, these are all high schoolers taking the bus to their teaching gigs, was reaching over 1,000 students, everywhere from India to Bolivia. Okay, but here's where the story takes a really unexpected turn. A simple suggestion from his mother opened his eyes to a classroom he had never even considered: a whole community of senior citizens. Yep, it was his mom's idea. She suggested he bring Mo to Code to a local assisted living facility, and the response was just immediate. In only 6 months, the program blew up, expanding to 7 different facilities. The new goal? To bridge that digital divide that so often leaves the older generation behind. And this quote really gets to the heart of their mission. Jacob's co-leader, 17-year-old Aiden Khalili, was inspired to join because he saw the tech challenges his own grandparents were facing. So for them, this isn't just about teaching cool new tech. It's about making sure nobody gets left out of the conversation in our super digital world. All right, let's get into the most urgent reason this knowledge is so critical. Because for seniors, the online world isn't just confusing sometimes. It can be actively dangerous, thanks to some really sophisticated online scams. Just look at this number: $4.9 billion. That's how much money Americans over 60 reported losing to scams in 2024 alone. That number is just staggering, and it's a 43% jump from the year before. The threat is very real, and it's growing incredibly fast. And we're not talking about simple little tricks here. Scammers have a whole playbook designed to create panic. They'll send fake tech support emails, text you about fake IRS debt, or make these frantic phone calls pretending to be a grandchild who's in serious trouble. In one wild case, a scammer actually convinced someone to mail them cash wrapped in aluminum foil. So, why does this keep working? Well, according to 87-year-old student Paulette Aroesti, it's really a mix of things. Loneliness can make people answer the phone just to have someone to talk to. And a lifetime of being generally trusting can make them more likely to follow urgent-sounding instructions from a stranger. And here's the really insidious part of the problem. Scammers absolutely rely on shame. Victims are often too embarrassed to admit they were tricked, so they just don't tell anyone. And that silence? That's exactly what allows these scams to keep on working. So, with all that said, how do you fight back? Well, Jacob's classes are arming seniors with the exact knowledge and tools they need to protect themselves in this digital danger zone. The program tackles this problem head-on. First, they show the positive side of AI, like using ChatGPT to help write a draft of an obituary for a friend. But then, they dedicate an entire week specifically to identifying and avoiding scams. And maybe most importantly, they create this safe space where everyone can share their experiences without any shame, finally breaking that cycle of silence. It's interesting because what Jacob and his friends are doing, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's actually part of a much bigger trend, a rapidly growing industry called age tech, which is just technology designed specifically to improve the lives of older adults. And we're talking about a massive market here. Tech spending by people over 50 is on track to hit $120 billion by 2030. That's why you're seeing huge companies like CVS and Best Buy investing a ton of money into services and products for this exact demographic. But the real story here, the thing that makes this program so successful, it isn't about market trends or even the software itself. It's about something way more fundamental, something that's actually kind of old-fashioned. I think this quote from Paulette just says it all. Even though she loves using FaceTime and her Alexa, she still misses that simple human interaction. And you know what? That's exactly what Mode Dakota's giving her. And that right there, that's the secret sauce. The learning is all done in person. The seniors don't just ask about their phones, they ask the teens about their dreams, about what colleges they're applying to. A real, genuine, cross-generational friendship is formed. And that makes a really intimidating topic like AI feel accessible and even fun. So all this kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In an era where we are all so focused on artificial intelligence and bots, maybe the most powerful technology we have for bridging any divide, whether it's age or knowledge or even fear, is just people. Helping other people face to face.